Hey, welcome everyone back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 109, Black IT Talk. I'm here with my co-facilitator, Lionel.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? How you doing today, Mike?
I'm good, brother. Yourself?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
All right. Um, so tonight's talk is going to be about cybersecurity and data science, business intelligence. If you want to follow along, the docket is in the description beneath the video, and we will cover a lot of the questions about just the industry itself from a high level standpoint. Not going to do too much deep diving. If you want to deep dive, then post your questions in the chat, and we will get started by sharing the screen. Okay, so hey, what's going on, Michael Holt? Um, the first question in the docket is what is data science? So basically, data science is the analysis of data, making sense of the senseless. So basically, you have lots of data being generated um, in what we call data lakes. This data is basically sitting isolated in an environment where it doesn't have any context and it needs context. And in order to drive context, um, or to make sense of the data, you have to start creating you have to start creating algorithms. Basically, you need to figure out a way to make data go line by line, so that it reads out as something that's legible to the human. Because you can throw zeros and ones, or you can throw lots of addresses. Give you another example. Amazon collects a lot of data. Facebook collects a lot of data. But what does all that data mean if it doesn't? If it's not, constructed? So once you construct this sort of data, um, then you can start building context for the next application. So, for example, advertisements require lots and lots of data, and in order for advertisers to actually um, move a product, they have to understand who their demographics are, location, age, sex. It sounds like old days of AOL, ASO, right? Um, right. So you need all this context, and that's what data scientists do. They need to make sense of data. I know you have any questions.
Okay, so the data that's pulled, is it from people's? Okay, let's say Google. Let's take Google. Is it pulled from people's emails? Of course, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say search results, search terms. Where else is the data pulled from?
You have logs on your computer. Computers generate logs, what we call syslogs, or syslog format, but it also generates all types of logs. Windows generates a lot of logs. MacBooks also generate logs. So a lot of the logs get put inside of a data lake as well. Cookies, cookies from your browser. That's the whole purpose of a cookie, is to collect that sort of information. And that's why when you go on certain websites now, they say, will you accept cookies or do you decline? Things of that nature, because they're collecting that information.
So when the data is put in data lakes, it's it's tantamount to this large receptacle of data, and it's up to the data analyst to
Data
do
science.
what they will, a data scientist to do what they will to it.
Ab-
See
ab-
what.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. For the most part, for the most part. You have everything generating logs. Your phone generates logs. Your Apple smartwatch or your Android watch generates logs. Anything that's IoT based is going to generate logs because these logs have to be collected. So it's pushing out information, but the information doesn't have any context. Okay, you have a Fitbit, and it measures your heart rate, measures your calorie rate. Some of them have GPS on them, so they have GPS location, how many steps you've taken. This sort of data can be critical to who?
The corporations.
Well, not just a corporation, but it could also be critical to a doctor,
Oh, okay. 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 Yes. Yes.
right? If you can make sense of that data, um, especially depending on the time and things like that, a doctor could actually can actually make sense of that data himself.
Now you were saying that the data is sifted by age and gender.
No, no, that those are some of the context, right? So that's
Okay.
those
Some
are some of the
concept.
criteria, some of the pieces of criteria that makes up the context.
Okay. So okay. Okay. And to help make the data more um
Legible.
yeah yeah legible. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And these are data science.
You would be considered a data scientist if you can actually do all the stuff on your own.
Hmm. Roger that.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. What's the next question? So the next question is, which markets benefit from data science? Just about all markets benefit from data science. When we really think about the impact of log collection and generating data, there has to be somebody who everyone can benefit from it. Advertisers benefit from it. Um, your local retail shops all benefit from it. They know which products to put on the shelf and what time to put it out there. Um, Public transportation is now benefiting from it because now they can determine whether or not they need to send two buses instead of one because it's rush hour and the kids are getting out of school, and then you have people getting out of work and there's not enough seats on the bus, so send two buses instead of one.
Mm.
Um, Same thing for law enforcement. Law enforcement could use this data to determine whether or not crimes are happening in certain areas at certain times, so they can preemptively put out, police cruises to monitor in certain areas. Um, schools schools actually can collect this sort of information as well. They can determine whether or not uh, whether or not they need to increase their enrollment.
Okay. So basically, this information can be used for a multitude of things,
Yep. All one data lake could actually be used for multiple reasons or multiple purposes.
and that purposes is things you know of you can use for it now, and things you may not know you can use for it, but that'll become relevant in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And data never really what we call stale, meaning goes old. Never
Mm.
really gets old. It's only old if it's not relevant.
Now, let's say is realized in the future, and can these data scientists go back 5 years in the past to see the gradual, well, the data from that in the past?
Say that one more time. Your mic broke up.
Let's say something is realized in the past. Let's say, uh, let's say corporations say, "Hey, what is this?" And they tell a data scientists, "Go back 5 years in the past so they can see the numbers." Can that happen?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Most corporations will usually keep data for like 7 years.
Hmm.
It's usually like the maximum amount of time that it makes it relevant. I think the law for most corporations um, stipulate that that data has to be held for 7 years after an employee leaves. But if you're talking about from an advertisement's perspective, they'll keep using that data as long as they can squeeze something tangible
Out
out
of
of it.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Because you think about Obama, Obama was the first president to actually utilize social media for a campaign. When you think about how they were able to target certain people for robocalls, going to people's houses, going to people's neighborhoods, which block they need to stand on, which which neighborhoods are voting and which ones are not, which ones are Republican, which ones are Democrat, which ones are independent. How do you persuade these people? What their buying pattern is, whether or not they buy from Barnes and Noble at the time or Amazon. Uh, do they shop at Starbucks or do they shop at Dunkin' Donuts, Walgreens, CVS? All that data matters.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, data science is an amazing career now. So
Now, so it's starting to um, gain traction or become popular.
it's very popular now. It's one of the top 10 popular
Okay.
IT careers.
All right,
Uh,
data
uh,
scientist,
hey, what's going on? Keep it techie. I sent you the link already.
data scientist. Okay, and I'm sure edX or these other sites have some type of classes involving data science.
Yes, and I'll bring that up in the next few minutes.
All right.
Now, the next question is, what are the challenges of being a data scientist? Um, I used to work for a certain financial organization, and they had about 4 data scientists, or what they would consider to be data engineers or data analysts. But for the sake of discussion, this is that they're actually data scientists. Um, they have to look through financial records going back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. All this information is actually all this data is being collected over the years, but it's also being pumped into a database that creates a data lake, and then that information has to be sifted through in order to make sense of the data. When you're a big financial organization, you have millions of records that you have to sift through because um, you have one account, but you have many different transactions and things that are being taken place, and that's how they figure out money laundering, anti-money laundering techniques, and fraud,
Mm,
things of that nature. That's how they sift it out. You have some kind of data scientist that's sitting down, or a data engineer for that matter, that's sitting down and looking at this data, constructing it, and saying this doesn't look right, or this looks fine. Let's pass it off.
okay. Hmm.
Right. So the ability to actually come up with different algorithms for yourself or for whoever your employers it would be the challenge.
Ah, okay, okay. So, proprietary algorithms.
Right. In order to construct better data sets.
I got you. Okay, okay.
Let me see. Are there any certifications for data scientists? Let's go through. Let me share my screen. So when we talk about certifications, we're not talking about same thing like CompTIA. That's different. Um, yes, Cisco certifications. That's different than what we typically do, with data science. So,
Hmm.
so here, I'm going to share my screen if I can get my mouse to actually work. So on edX, there is a certificate course, master's, a micro master's course, as well as a full master's degree program, and we'll go over that real quick. So the first is professional certificate in data science by Harvard University. 9 courses, $441.90. Um, and it says Learn key data science. Learn key data science essentials, including R and machine learning, through real-world case studies to jumpstart your career as a data scientist. What you'll learn: fundamental R programming skills. That's R is like really big. Um, Statistical concepts such as probability and inference and modeling, and how to apply them in practice. Gain experience with tidyverse, including data visualization with uh, ggplot2 and data wrangling with Differ. Um, Become familiar with essential tools for practicing data scientists such as Unix and Linux, Git, GitHub, and RStudio. I haven't used RStudio in years. Implement machine learning algorithms, in-depth knowledge of fundamental data science concepts through motivating real-world case studies. So here, you're getting 9 courses. That's like unheard of. So you get data science, R basics, data science visualization, data science probability, data science inference modeling, data science productivity tools, data science wrangling, linear regression, machine learning, and capstone. So your capstone is usually how you do your thesis, which you have to
Hmm.
demonstrate it.
Now, those are those courses good courses considering it's edX? Well, not to say that edX is bad, but considering they're online, not in class.
It's exactly what you need to get started.
Mm, okay.
And let's look at the second one. So this other one is from Berkeley. Foundations of Data Science, a data science program for everyone. Learn the core concepts of computing and inference as you work hands-on with real-world data. Uh, how much is this? 267 bucks, 30 cents. And then you have three three courses. So Foundations of Data Science, Computational Thinking with Python, Foundations of Data Science, Inferential Thinking by Resampling, and Foundations of Data Science, Prediction and Machine Learning. So similar to what Harvard was offering, but kind of more compressed.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty
Um,
good.
yeah, I would say so.
And how much was it again
$267.30.
for
That's
those
pretty.
9 classes?
No, this is for the 3 courses
Okay.
from Berkeley, but on Harvard, it's 441 for 9 courses.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah. So you
Considering what you would pay.
right, right, and let me see if I can go back. Let's see. Go to Micro Masters. Share my screen. And as you can see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have about maybe a dozen Micro Masters programs. I think only 3 of them are actually relevant. So this UC San Diego is actually an MIT. You have MIT, so let's go to MIT first. 5 courses: statistics and data science. How much is that? So $1,300, $1,350. Science of uncertainty, data analysis and social science, fundamentals of statistics, machine learning with Python. That seems to be really popular. And then you do your capstone at the end. And this is coming from MIT.
Mm, this is awesome.
Hmm. And then let's go to this one. Um, oh, this is UC San Diego. So what you will learn: how to load and clean real-world data, how to make reliable statistical inferences from noisy data, how to use machine learning to learn models for data, how to visualize complex data. So it's all the same thing. How to use Apache Spark. Apache Spark is fairly new, but it's actually powerful. It's a powerful tool
Mm.
um, to analyze data that does not fit within the memory of a single computer. So this is a big problem, right? Most computers can only fit certain amounts of data inside of it before it becomes who just joined? Oh, before it becomes unattainable. So that's why you have supercomputers or you have computers working in clusters because then you can have uh, terabytes of memory to load it up in. But this is actually a good program too. I wouldn't discount it because it's not MIT. It's actually a pretty good program. Let's look
Mm.
at this one. Let's look at this one.
Ooh, Price Waterhouse Coopers.
Yeah, and this is self-paced too.
Uh,
So no, I think I don't. It's not by PwC, but it's actually by
oh no, it was saying job under jobs.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It says the chief economist of Google, Hal Halvarian. Give me 1 second.
Man, this is some good stuff, everybody. Really s- really help people on the right track. Take away or demystify the confusion.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, how to design algorithms. I mentioned that earlier about you need to be able to scientist fundamental programming concepts, including data abstraction, storage, and structures. Very important. Understand computational thinking, which includes decomposition, pattern recognition, and abstraction, data-driven problem and algorithm design for big data, interpretation of data representation and analysis, understanding key mathematical concepts, including dimension reduction, NBA Zon models, how to use analytical tools such as R and Java. R is very popular for data scientists. So R is the interface that allows you to go in and structure data out. Typically, you have a whole bunch of data in your face, but you don't have any way to make sense of it. And R helps you craft that sense.
Mm.
Most corporations already pay for R, but this is the part. This is all part of data business intelligence, the ability to do it per line of business.
Okay. Okay.
So you have finance, you have health, you have government or municipal, um, advertising, marketing, things of that nature. You can't go wrong with any of these programs, whether it's self-paced or it's already scheduled live. You can't go wrong with any of these programs on ADX, and you're getting it from a Division I school.
Mm. That ain't bad. Now, are there any prereqs to MicroMasters?
I think you have to already have your bachelor's degree,
Okay.
so this serves as a prerequisite for your master's degree.
Okay.
So if you pass the MicroMasters course, then what happens is it kind of walks you into a master's degree program that affiliated with that school. It's
Oh,
already
that's pretty
accredited. Yeah.
good. Hmm.
So let me share my screen one more time. All right. So you have several master's degrees in data science. UC San Diego, again, they had a micromaster's degree program and a professional certificate um, on EDX, but it also that program actually walks you into their master's degree program. It only has 10 courses, so $15,000 for the course. I mean for the degree.
for San Diego.
Right.
Okay, 10
Just a minute.
courses.
Hmm. Then you
That
have
that
yeah, you have
that
UT Austin for 10,000. Georgia Tech 9,900. Um, yeah, that's about it. You get
those
a couple.
prices.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
those prices are what master's degree probably used to cost decades ago.
You can't even get an associate's degree for that kind of money.
I would agree with that. Yes, I would agree with that.
You can't get an associate's degree for that kind of money. As long as you have the discipline to sit in front of a computer and actually take these classes online, you're golden. I mean,
And
think about people who have these 8-hour hangouts on YouTube. You think I'm gonna waste my time sitting on an 8-hour hangout when I could be sitting in here getting a degree that's gonna pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in the end?
now, are these self-paced?
Some no master's degree programs are never self-paced.
Okay. I kid you not. Every morning when I wake up, I go, on edX, do my certificate. I work on my certification,
Hmm.
and then I'll bring up another browse one tab in the browser, type in timer, put in 1 hour 30 minutes, and then I'll start working on my certification,
Hmm.
and that's every morning. So I did this. I've been doing it so much that it's just knocking on out, basically.
Hmm.
And I say it to say this with these micromaster certifications, you can basically do the same thing, knocking on out in the morning, cut out of
That's if
time.
yeah, that's if it's self-paced. Not all micromasters are self-paced.
No, I'm saying,
You mean you have a certificate?
yeah. Well, if depending on how you have to work at these, the speed in which these micromaster's degree goes,
Hmm.
tailor that to your schedule. Like you said, these 8 hour hangouts, these 4 hour hangouts, really ain't talking about nothing. You could be doing this.
Yeah, I would say that some of our some of our content that we post on a weekly basis would be considered a certificates course. I mean, you're getting geopolitics, you're getting space and technology, and you're getting economics. And dollar world drops, the charts at the end of the at the end of the economics hangout. So you're getting you're getting a total package when you come here, but you can get even a better package if you sign up for EDX. And I am no way affiliated with anybody, the founders of EDX at all. So
Me neither.
yeah, so we told it because it's a trusted platform. Now I just want to highlight this portion right here. The average salary for an entry level data scientist is $118,000, 748.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I was at and this is for people listening to this because I think you and I talked about this, but I was at a Black Tech Fest this week and had a great time and met some people who were entry level data scientists. These are black people, black women and black men, and they were pulling in six figures. And um so this little highlight caption is actually telling you the truth. It's telling you it's a very valid statement that an entry level data scientist does make $100,000.
Now, for the micromasters,
Hmm.
well, it says, obviously you have to have a bachelor's degree. Okay, that's understood. Fine. Is it the case where that bachelor's degree has to be in that field that you're doing your micromasters in?
It's probably be preferable.
Okay, prep. Okay, okay.
Yeah, in order to understand information technology and stuff like that, you have to have some form of background.
Hmm.
It's very important. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, what are the salaries for data scientists? Let's Let's use Indeed real quick, and I'll cover 4 areas. Atlanta, yeah. Let's use Atlanta. That's in the South. I swear a lot of black people are.
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah, junior data scientist, $80,000,
Mm.
Georgia. Junior data scientist. Remember we went over earlier that um, a entry level data scientist makes anywhere makes up to 6 figures. So here we are right here, posted 9 days ago. Cambridge Technology Incorporated.
Mm.
Uh, Let me see if I can find another job. The Home Depot. Oh, I know one of my colleagues just got a job at Home Depot doing data science work as well as data engineering. So again, data scientist, machine learning, $60 to $70 an hour. This is in Georgia.
Mm. And a lot of these say Atlanta. Or Delta Airlines. Mm.
Yeah, Delta's in Atlanta.
Yeah. No, I was pointing out that it is Delta Airlines, Duluth,
Hmm.
Georgia.
Hmm.
Mm.
Give me 1 second.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Exciting. Check the chat out. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Black IT Talk. This is some good information. What's going on, Dollar Will? What's going on? Paul Bryant, keep it tacky. Michael Hope, everybody, how you doing? Um, if y'all want any questions answered, drop it in the chat. And as Dollar Will said, just mentioned right now.
Yeah, let's look at Chicago for another, as a non-southern country, right? It's in the Midwest.
Hmm.
Uh, data it's saying it right here as a barometer. Data scientist salaries in Chicago, $119,000, $119,430. So we know, just based off of these statistics, that it's a very lucrative position.
Now that gauge, the
Hmm.
that 119 is more toward the minimum. It's closer to the minimum than it is the
I mean,
maximum.
max, yeah,
Yeah.
because you start getting into like PhDs and stuff like that. That's who that max is about.
Okay. Because I say that I say it to say more people are earning closer to that 119,000,
Hmm.
opposed to if that 119,000 were closer to the max, then more people will be earning closer to the 44,000. But this really is a good lucrative business to be in, or job to have. What merch you choose to use? This is nice,
And it's a job that's going to last another 10 years
at least.
until you get automations and you got to. But for right
Yes.
now, data science is where it is. You see right here, startup data scientist. $80,000 to $100,000 in Chicago.
Mm.
Data scientists in Chicago, 60 to 75,000. Part-time data scientists, associate data scientists. They can't fill enough of these jobs because there's just not enough people out here. And
Mm.
we had this talk this week at Black Tech Fest that this is where Black people should be at.
TransUnion.
Say it again.
TransUnion. One data a data scientist credit.
Yeah, remember I mentioned earlier that they use data scientists to detect fraud and anti-money laundering.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that earlier. Um, this is where it is. Let's look at some books. Let me go to
Good
the beginning.
stuff.
I can only have one career at a time, but if I was getting into IT right now, if I had a background in economics, this is exactly where I'd be going.
Mm.
So, machine learning and production developing. That's a good book to have. It's not even out yet, but I can tell by the title and the author that this is good stuff.
Where you at? Machine.
Machine
Okay, I see.
learning and production.
Mm.
Because the way a data scientist cuts down on their time is that they use machine learning to go out and fetch data
Okay.
and construct it for themselves. So they can do other things. Programming skills for data science. You need to know how to use Python. Python for R. Let me actually pull up something real quick. The most demand skills for data scientists, right? What are employers looking for? Um, so based on the job listing, LinkedIn has the most listings for data scientists, and then we were just looking at Indeed and Simply Hired, Monster, AngelList or AngelList. Um, but let's go down right here. The majority of the skills looked for in data scientists are actually analysis, and then you have machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have statistics, and then you have the mathematics and stuff like that. How much math do you need to know? Um, ninth, 10th grade level math is the most. So statistical analysis is the highest you're going to really need. But then again, it's all depending on the type of role you're going to get into, right? So analysis is the main point of what they look for. And I mentioned earlier, data engineering, deep learning, um, artificial intelligence. That's on the low end of skills of the listing, but machine learning and statistics and analysis is really where everybody's looking for because they need people that can actually drive their business intelligence.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
top 20 technology skills and data scientists job listing. Python, I mentioned that earlier. R, we talked about that. SQL, that's somebody like Richard Dixon in the chat. Sorry, that's what he's studying. T SQL. Hadoop. Hadoop is database a database engine, if I remember correctly. Spark, Apache Spark, we talked about that earlier. Java, SAS, Tableau. Tableau is actually a company. Um, Hive, Scala. Scala is very popular too.
Mm.
AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. D++, common language to program in. MATLAB, MATLAB, very popular. TensorFlow, that's used for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. C, which is language. Excel, everybody should know Excel at this point. NoSQL, another database. And Linux. Um, command line. So that's it's a lot of command line. Azure, which is cloud, and that's about it. But the most that if you look at the percentage of the job listing for skills, it's Python. So data scientists and Python coding and Linux go hand in hand. R too, right? So SQL too. Yep. Here we go right here. Python is the most in demand language. R is not that far behind Python, SQL, Hadoop. This is it.
Yeah, I
This is it.
see.
You know,
Now
we
it's
talk about this a lot, but you know, now you have go ahead.
oh no, you go, you go ahead. It was a minor question.
Now I was just gonna say we talk about this a lot, but you know, this is where we are.
Now it says Excel. Just what basic knowledge on how to do formulas in Excel?
You need to be able to create Excel sheets that are actually legible for somebody to actually read. For example, I created a timesheet that you can actually do your you can log your hours for work, and it actually does the calculations.
Hmm.
So if I took a half hour for work, then the Excel spreadsheet actually calculates that stuff.
Okay.
If I did overtime, then it will say point 0.5, point 0.8. It'll calculate all of that.
Hmm.
So you have to have the ability to do things like that.
All right.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is nice. This is hopefully the black men listen to this will instill in you instill in them a want to become better. You know, the best they can be, because this is good information.
Right, and this is where black men should be at. Truth be told, this is where you
Hmm.
should be at. This is where um, it's an untapped field. It's still growing. We see some of the political policies that are stopping H-1B visas from coming in. Uh, that allows you to have more wiggle room to one apply for these roles, and number two, um, negotiate a better salary. We
Hmm.
know right off. We know just by the simple searches that we just did for Chicago and Atlanta, you're getting six figures no matter no matter if you're in Atlanta or you're in Chicago.
Man, this is good stuff, man. Hmm.
Hmm. And you can get your master's degree for less than a Honda Accord.
You know, that's a good way of putting.
You know, a lot of these guys go out there and they put 28-inch wheels on their cars and candy paint and all that stuff.
You can
I'm
have
all
a,
set with that. I'm
you
all
can have
set
a
with that.
master's degree.
Yeah, I'll put that master's degree on my wall. I'm all set.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm. Let me let's get to the questions. Actually, I wanted to find a book. Uh, I had a let me see if I can pull this up over here. Oh, here it is right here. So let me drop this in the chat as well.
Hmm. Hmm. What's going on, Richard Victor Dixon? All right. Death Race 25.
All right, here it is right here. Let me share my screen. So this is from opensource.com. How to write your favorite R functions in Python. Remember, we talked about this earlier about how R and Python is two skills that are in demand for data scientists and business intelligence. R or Python. This Python script mimics convenient R-style functions for doing statistics and nice and easy. Remember, I said before that what are the challenges of a data scientist? Well, they have to be able to create algorithms, right? Um, Let me just read this first paragraph. One of the great modern battles of data science and machine learning is Python versus R. There is no doubt that both have gained enormous ground in recent years to become top programming languages for data science, predictive analytics, and machine learning. In fact, according to a recent IEEE article, Python overtook C++ as the top programming language, and R firmly seduced its spot in the top 10. So it's a this is more instructional. It's just teaching you how to do things in with Python for R. And let me just pull this up real quick. So if you want to know like how Dollar Will um, does his technical analysis, well, in the background, this is actually what's being done
Hmm.
from this to subtract this, right? So this is really geeky stuff. So let me just drop this in the chat for those who want to. Let's see, control.
All right. All right.
Hmm, let me go right here.
Mhm.
Oh, it's too long for the chat. That sucks.
It was the link.
Yeah, it's too long for the chat. But I'll put it in the description beneath the video so
All right.
everybody else can see it.
Hmm.
All right, let's get to next questions. What's the difference between information security and cybersecurity? So these terms get used a lot. They get tossed around by professionals and unprofessionals as well. Um, so an information security person controls is involved in the control of data. So they focus on policy, compliance, and data controls. A cybersecurity person focuses on the management of network security for an organization. So they focus on the edge layer, the core layer, as well as perimeter defense, and offense. So cybersecurity people are typically looking at antiviruses, signatures, and malware, whereas information security people typically look at policy. They're usually policy and compliance driven.
Okay.
You want to say something, Lionel?
Okay.
What was that?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I was saying okay.
All right. How does cybersecurity impact businesses? So this probably goes for information security as well. Cybersecurity is meant as an assurance for businesses, because what happens when you don't comply with laws and regulations, you can be penalized for it, not just financially, but you can also be penalized because the bad guys will get in. Um,
Hmm.
so when you start dealing with financial records, you have SOX compliance, you have GLBA, you have other forms of regulation from Europe that says that this data has to be protected at all times. And cybersecurity, your job is to manage network security aspect of the organization. If you're information security, um, you focus on the compliance and regulations aspect of data within the organization. So the impact could be cataclysmic. If you think about what happened last week with the Marriott, they lost a million. They lost millions of records. Um, Facebook just had a breach. Or not a breach, but a vulnerability that led to a breach. I think the other day, potentially, Google had a vulnerability that allowed Google Plus to have potentially their username and passwords actually leak out. So if you have Google Plus, you should probably shut that page down.
Okay. And this cybersecurity, of course, allows that to happen. Now, the other, um, I forgot the name of it already. Cybersecurity versus what was the other one?
Information security.
Information security. And remember there's a couple of businesses they had hacks. Target, I think TransUnion had a hack too.
You mean Equifax?
Equifax, yeah. That that has to do with information security.
Information security and cybersecurity. For all intents and purposes, information security and cybersecurity usually fall under the same umbrella. If you're
Mm,
looking at it from a government standpoint, they usually break that apart because they have different sections and roles. But
mhm.
if you work for any private corporation, information security and cybersecurity is the same for the most part. Cybersecurity guys can do information security guys work, and information security guys are kind of cannibalized by cybersecurity guys. So, for all intents and purposes, in private corporations, cybersecurity and information security will be one under the same umbrella.
Okay, gotcha. Except in the government, which you say they tend to break that apart.
Right. You would have cybersecurity guys and cybersecurity forensics guys and like FBI, because they do investigations, right? FBI's job is threat investigation, so they do forensics. So cybersecurity forensics guys are very popular inside FBI, whereas the CIA is Central Intelligence Agency. Threat intelligence is their role. Um, so they have a lot of guys who can do cyber threat intelligence, which is something I do. And then you have DHS, which is Homeland Security, which involves threat mitigation. So threat mitigation, these would be your guys who do defense, blue team, red team. Red team does offense, blue team does defense.
Okay, got it. All right, I got it.
Hmm. So many companies spend millions of dollars on cybersecurity hardware and, and software, antivirus protection, stuff like that, firewalls, intrusion detection, intrusion protection, um, uh, different types of web application firewalls, what we call WAFs.
Hmm.
Um, those are usually used for very critical needs in areas like databases, protect databases. Um, and then you have some of the other functions such as target locks, DEFCON locks for laptops and stuff like that, because devices have to be locked down so they can't be stolen. Um,
Hmm.
so those are the ways of how cybersecurity impacts a business. It's it's for the best, it's for the benefit of the good, but it's actually a necessity
Okay.
um, in today's workforce.
Okay. Okay.
So it says, what are the challenges of a security professional? So cybersecurity, information security. Um, some of the challenges you go through is new tactics. Bad guys are always looking for new tactics to get into organizations and get into your environment. So you got to come up. You got to be able to think like a bad guy in order to stop the bad guys. So some of the things that I have to do in my day to day, my day to day responsibilities is I'm constantly looking at logs. I'm looking at data. I'm looking at what's consistent, what's not consistent, what's legitimate and what's not legitimate. If I see too many connections coming from China or Russia, then I know we have some problems because we don't do business in China and Russia for the most
Okay.
part, right? If I'm seeing multiple connections from across the United States, I can determine whether or not that's legitimate because I can look at the IP and I can kind of narrow down um, whether or not that's an employee or that's something bad, or maybe that might be a VPN connection because VPN connections don't keep the same IP as your dynamic IP from a basic user.
Hmm. That's I mean, what you're saying, I wouldn't have thought that is all that's needed. Well, not needed. Why say needed? The job description is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, all the things that these different IT guys do. I uh, thought of that.
hmm hmm So AO in the chat asks, how'd you get into cybersecurity? So I have 10 years experience prior to getting into cybersecurity. So I was in IT for 10 years. So I have a very thorough understanding of IT architecture and information technology as a whole. So once you understand the environment, it's easier for you to secure the environment. You know all your low hanging fruit and also your highly valuable targets, HVTs or HVAs, high value assets. So I spent a lot of time in IT um, on the endpoint side, on the analysis side, just figuring out problems with most sections of information technology, your printers, your desktops, your servers. I've been in data centers. I've been a part of network teams, wiring up infrastructure and things of that nature. So I have a clear understanding of information technology to a point where I could actually secure it. What's going on, C Boogie? Ayo X again. Any specific search to get one leg up? We'll go over that. You gonna say something, Leno?
Now I see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me go to the next question. Are there any certifications for information security, for information and cybersecurity? Yes, and we're going to go over that right now. Are you kidding me? Anyways, um, come to you. Go to certifications. All right, this is CompTIA's website, so CompTIA.org. Um, so certifications, we can go to cybersecurity right here. Actually, let's focus on the core fundamentals. So you should always have CompTIA Security Plus as a starting point for cybersecurity and information security. Most, if not all, organizations require that you have this. This is almost like having a learner's permit before you get your driver's license. So definitely get your Security Plus. If you study the book, no matter who makes a book, you can't fail. You only need a 750. So 750 out of 900. So you should be good. Um, the next certification after that would probably be a oh, you know what? Let's look at Pen Test Plus. So the reason why I say Pen Test Plus over CEH is because CEH is expensive for one, and nobody really recognizes it to that extent. I mean, CEH has branding, it has social branding because it's popular with the government. But when you really dig into CEH, it really doesn't go over enough to actually do your job. It doesn't really benchmark you on your work, on your responsibilities. It just tells you the structure of an ethical hacker, but it doesn't really go into why you're, as to how you would implement and set up your infrastructure for pen testing. Whereas with CompTIA's Pen Test Plus, that's exactly what it does.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can pass the Pen Test Plus, you can do your job. The same can't be said about people who take the CEH. They take the CEH and then it's just a brand name. It's like having a flight jacket with chevrons on the side of it, but you've never been in the military.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Let's
you
see.
look at jobs that use CompTIA Pen Test Plus, it says penetration tester, vulnerability tester, security analyst too. So that's a mid-level security analyst, vulnerability assessment analyst, network security operations, and application security vulnerability. Um, how many questions are on here? Oh, it's only 85. You need a 750 just like everything else. And it's performance based. Type of questions, performance based, meaning you have to actually demonstrate in real time how to go about pen testing. So, or ethical hacking is what they call it, white hat hacking, in multiple choice. I don't know anybody who has failed it, but then again, I don't know too many people have taken it. And what we have right here is a chart that says, like I mentioned earlier, the difference between pen tests and EC Council's CEH is that performance-based questions, no performance-based questions. Experience level is all the same. The exam focus is on penetration testing and vulnerability assessment. The CEH is only focused on penetration testing. Vulnerability assessment is very critical because most of your breaches, your cybersecurity breaches, come from vulnerability patching. And what happens is if you don't patch in time and the bad guys figure out that vulnerability exists in your network, you're screwed.
Mm.
So yeah, so Security Plus, Pen Test Plus. Um, Let me get over to ISC. Yep, we can go to ISC, and let's go to certifications. So you have CISSP, which is the top leading security certification in the industry. SSCP, which is a step below CISSP. TCSP, which is cloud security, very big going into 2019, 2020 to have CCSP. And then you have your concentrations on the side. So, let me just click on CISSP. In order to take the CISSP, you have to have 5 years of experience. If you don't have it, you're not going to get it. They'll just deny you of that credential, even if you do pass it. So who earns the CISSP? Chief Information Security Officer, Chief Information Officer, Director of Security, IT Director, Security Systems Engineer, Security Analyst, Security Manager, Security Auditor, Security Architect, Security Consultant, Network Architect. So these are all high-ranking roles. These are not entry-level roles. And then you have your SSCP, which is Security Administration, and then Cloud Security. So who earns cloud security? Cloud security certified professional, enterprise architect, security administrator, systems engineer, security architect, security consultant, security engineer, security manager, security systems architect. So, you know, and then you have HCISPP, which is a healthcare security and privacy protection professional. So these are the main certifications you need to be worried about. You do have SANS training and GIAC certifications, but those are extremely expensive, and that's really allocated to the military. So if you're in the military, that's usually what you're taking. So let me bring this up. SANS training, some of the best training you can get on the market. Very expensive, but that's because the government pays for it. So let's look at the programs. Let's look at the course list. Let me see. Okay, get certified. Here we are. Get certified. All right, so the first one is security essentials, GSEC. That's similar to Security Plus. I think it's just a little bit more challenging because they ask a lot more questions. Certified intrusion analyst, that's what I do, what I used to do. That's a lot harder than the first one I just mentioned. And then you have security fundamentals. Nobody really takes that. Enterprise defender, that's a blue team cert. You can do blue team. If you work on a blue team, that's exactly what you'd be going for. Certified Windows security administrator. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I don't know too many people who have it. Continuous monitoring certification, not a big fan of that either. But that's mostly eyes on glass, what you do in security operation centers. Certified perimeter protection analyst. This is a basically a firewall certification. People who manage firewalls and for security administration needs, this is exactly what you go for. Critical control certification. This is information security for the most part. Certified Unix security administrator. I'm not that big of a fan of it, but if you're responsible, if you're a Linux administrator, Linux engineer, this is what you would go for.
Okay.
And that's it from this point on. Let me go to Izaka's docker.org. Let me read the chat. Would it be good to have both Security Plus and Pen Test Plus, or just one? You get both. They do different functions. Security Plus is really for security literacy, and Pen Test is actually a job function. Yeah, you're right. SANS wants 6,000. They can keep it. Not, I would never recommend it, but that's just me. So this is Izaka. Izaka is actually the oldest organization that looks at security, information security, from a certification and ongoing practices standpoint. They're a very tight organization. So in order for you to get the knowledge that they have, you have to be a member of it. I've been a member for a few years now. So the first one is Certified Information Systems Auditor. Very necessary certification if you work in information system security. So if you work in compliance and you work in forensics and things like that, this is actually a very good certification to get. The CRISC, Certified Risk in Information Systems Control. Um, Another one for compliance that's really, really big.
Okay.
Uh, Certified Information Security Manager. If you're a manager in security, this is what you're going for. And certified in the governance of enterprise IT. Um, this is another compliance and information security certification. So you're not really dealing with cybersecurity. You're dealing with information security. You're dealing with the controls aspect of data and other functions of the organization. And cybersecurity nexus that's similar to what CompTIA has. It hasn't gotten a lot of traction because it's very expensive, or was expensive when I first looked into it. It's about $1,000 or something like that, if not more. But that's it for certifications. Now we can go into EDX, and we can go into cybersecurity. So you have a micromaster's degree in cybersecurity from Rochester Institute of Technology, and then you have, and that's self-paced. Well, it was self-paced. I think it's changed now. Um, let me see if I can find it. Go back to the home page. Let me go to our professional certificates. See if I can find it there. Yeah. So Microsoft has a cybersecurity professional certificate on here. So there's 10 courses. Yep, 10 courses. Um, 1 through 10, enterprise security fundamental, threat detection, planning for secure enterprise. The third one is planning security incident response, PowerShell security for best practices, managing identity, security in Office 365, Windows 10 security features, Windows Server 2016 security features, and Microsoft Azure security services, and professional capstone at the end. So that's your demonstration.
Hmm. Okay.
How much is this? $990 for the whole entire
That
certificate
ain't bad.
program.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, I would recommend this over getting the CEH. The CEH is $900 just for the certification. You take this and you're getting the whole professional um course over that. That's why I don't recommend the CEH.
This is disrupting a lot of things at X.
Hmm. And this one is yeah, this isn't a very good one in comparison to Microsoft's. Yeah, this isn't very good compared to Microsoft. So let's go back and let's look at their master's degree. So Georgia Tech has a master's degree in cybersecurity, $9,920, 10 courses. Let's click on it. Can't beat that with a bat. Um,
Okay.
now it doesn't allow you to click on details. Oh, here it is right here. Yeah, it doesn't really go into the look at the curriculum. Oh, here it is right here. Okay.
What's
So
up? What
intro.
up? Keep it taking. How you doing?
What's up, man? How y'all doing, man?
All
I'm
right.
chilling, bro. What's going on? Let me just finish this up and I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Yep. Right. So it has your four cores: introductory core, specialized tracks, electives, practicum, practicum, and then you have your information security track, energy systems track, and then your public policy track. That's actually really good, especially for the cost, fully online, 2 to 3 years. And this is through EDX. This isn't like you got to go down to the university and fill it out. If you fill it out through EDX, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, RIT, which is our Rochester Institute, um, has a similar one. I'm not sure how much it costs though. So this one is actually been cut down to $1,080, as opposed to what it was before. And let's look at the classes. So cybersecurity fundamentals, cybersecurity forensics, cybersecurity risk management, network security, and cybersecurity capstone. Really can't beat that. For $1,080, you can't beat that. That's less than a flat screen TV, 65 inch.
It is.
Go ahead,
It
keep it techy.
is. Yeah.
Oh, I ain't really have much on this one. Yeah, this but I mean, just to say, these courses they've came down tremendously from when I went to school. I paid close to 30 grand for a degree like this. If that is a master's degree, right?
That's a micro master. So micro
Oh my
masters
God.
would be like a master's certificate.
Okay, I got you.
But then if you look at the other one, um, I think it's the what do you call that? The not the RIT, the Georgia Tech. Sorry, Georgia Tech master's degree in cybersecurity is only $10,000. So it's only $8,000 more for the full degree,
Wow.
and it's only 10 courses. Lionel does courses on EDX, and he can tell you how fast he flies through those.
Yeah. Yeah. They real straightforward. You know, no real fluff in it. They real straightforward.
And so those are the degrees and certifications and certificates and micromasters and things like that that you can get out of this. So let me go to the last question, which is what are the salaries for cybersecurity jobs? I don't even need to look into it. I can tell you right out the gate. It's 80 bands and up. So 80 grand and up. No matter which role you're getting into, it's 80 grand and up. So now if you had data science and cybersecurity and blockchain and cloud and and program skills, you're,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll be a solutions architect at that point.
Really?
Yeah, you will be a solutions architect.
Yeah, and all of that you can get on edX.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
And
interesting.
also, no matter where you at, they paying no matter what part of the country in. 80 bands and up, like you said.
Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. We just looked at Georgia, Atlanta, and Chicago, two separate locations, two separate regions, and they're both the same salaries.
Hmm.
Now, if you were in Qatar or you were in Bahrain or you were in Saudi Arabia, yeah, you're gonna be pulling in 200K easy.
Mm.
Now, whether or not you get to spend that money, it's a different story.
Man, this is good stuff. This is worth worth charging the price of admission just to listen to. But
Hmm.
this is some good information.
Hmm. Well, let me just go to Indeed and just try to pull it up. Uh, just pull this up real quick. Chicago salaries for IT security specialists, 131 grand, $131,196 per year in Chicago.
Mm.
Walgreens would be like the most um, popular employer in Chicago or in Illinois, I should say, for cybersecurity because they are a major institution. They're a major institution over there. And we see the max is like 246. But again, those are people who can write their own ticket, basically. They don't really talk to anybody. They're renegades, what we call renegades. Renegades don't take orders from anybody. They're basically their own. Um, they're their own boss. They don't they don't really play well with other people. They are contractors, W-4 or um, um, basically they come in. They're ninjas. They basically drop in when you need them.
Okay.
And a lot of cybersecurity work can be done remotely. You don't really need to be in the office. And I would say the same thing about data scientists. You don't really need to be in the office to actually construct data sets and things like that and algorithms. You could do that from at home.
Okay.
As long as you got three widescreen monitors set up and got a nice crisp setup in place, you're good.
Man, you give me ideas, man.
Yeah, you gotta if you want to, you want to be in these type of arenas. You got to actually, as black men, you got to actually beef up your LinkedIn or beef up your profile. Get that certification, get that micromasters or get that master's degree on EDX, and then you can actually negotiate better salaries. You can't just come in there with empty-handed with nothing and just be like, I want to get into cybersecurity. Where's the money at? There's so many guys I went to school with, so many black men that I went to school with during undergrad who They thought that they were going to get that $100,000 job, and by slacking off and copying off of other people's papers.
Mm.
When it was
Yeah.
time to graduate, they were hurting.
Uh, we call it a degree in kicking it.
Oh yeah, they were too busy in the hallway chasing females,
Yeah.
texting,
Yeah.
you know,
In
doing
the foyer.
FaceTime,
In the
knocking.
foyer. Sitting down,
Oh yeah,
trying trying to looking cool, talking to the girls.
hmm on FaceTime, out there, getting dome in the car or something like that. They was doing nothing with their time in school, and when they run into guys like me, they like, oh man, help a brother out, and I'm like, you should help yourself out.
Degree in kicking it. What?
Yeah, absolutely, man. What is it's a joke. It's a joke. If you think you're gonna come in there and slack off in this arena, it's not gonna happen. You won't even make it past the phone screening for a
Mm.
job interview. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys that are like that, man. They just don't put in the work. Keep it tech. You have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna throw something out there for people that may want to get into the military. If you have a lot of these skills, as far as these certs, that especially cybersecurity that Mike is talking about, I know now the DoD kind of relaxed a lot of standards because they're trying to beef up their cybersecurity operations because they're behind. So I mean, all the good tech guys are not thinking about joining the military really, but um, they relaxing a lot of those standards that you normally would have to do. I mean, I've even read an article. I don't know this. I think this was last year sometime, but um, they just to get cyber people in, they were allowing people to skip boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes, yes. So I
Yeah.
mean, the tech industry they trying to keep up, especially with all these other countries already on top of it when it comes to cybersecurity. They already doing certain things. We rely heavily on contractors, but they're trying to beef it up in the military as well and make it more attractive. Get guys in there. So
Yeah. I was called for the Air Force not too long ago for cybersecurity. They wanted me to come in. So
yep,
Dang, skipping boot camp. Shoot, that's that mean they open for contracts.
yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the whole skipping boot camp. I remember reading an article about it, but I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it on one of the major um sites, but I did see it on an article that I was reading. But I know for sure they were relaxing standards for that reason. If you got that tech background, they'll work with you.
mm,
So I mean, it's similar to them relaxing the rules because they, and I know this kind of off topic, but because they, marijuana is becoming legal, so they
yep.
relaxing rules for that as well. So
Yeah. They'll have to test for a different level of THC.
yep,
Hey, what's going on, Complex? Yeah. So these are opportunities are here. I mean, data science is critical. The difference between data science and cybersecurity, from my perspective, is that security information, cybersecurity, those are functions of the business, of your line of business, right? Um, it's like having an assistant coach on the team. Like that's just typical. You always have an assistant coach. You always have a defensive coordinator. You always have you know, um, offensive offensive coordinator and things of that nature. These are guys are just functions of the business. Um, Data science is a little bit more different. It's more critical to the line of business um, because they're hard to find. data science people are hard to find.
Yeah, and a lot of the data science guys are actually coming over from the engineering side, and I think you said that at the beginning. Um, but but yeah, that's where a lot of them are coming from.
Yep, they have a strong engineering background, or they have a
Yep,
strong computer science background.
yep.
I know. What was that you said? Let me go to the chat, see what my guys are saying. Yeah, Sands won 6,000 for a class. It's a joke. It's getting to the point where Sands is going to price themselves out of business. I mean, they have good training, but the problem is that it's so absurdly expensive. Why would I pay $6,000 for a class when I can go on EDX and get a whole master's degree for that kind of money? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I know a degree and training is not the same, but I'd rather have the degree than the training. I can always train myself. I don't really need that. So um, AO says that's all most people go to school for. It's a damn shame. Yeah, a lot of black men go to school for like they fuck around a lot, man. You know, just a lot of bullshit. Um, I know when I was in school, we did have our quote unquote brain trust of the day during undergrad. So not all black men are like that, but there was a significant amount that were out screwing around, doing things that they should not have been doing, and then they knock on guys like us, who tend to excel and do better than they do, and they're looking at us like, oh, you guys think you're too good, you're all bougie, No, go do your homework. That's what you're supposed to do. You think you're gonna copy off somebody else's paper? You're a fool. Always have an excuse of why they're late and things of that nature. My dog ate my USB hard drive or something like that. Just all types of excuses.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm kind of glad.
You're borging out. Keep it techie. Can anybody else hear me in the chat? Yeah, I'll give keep it techie some time. Maybe he needs to log off and log back on. But even the title, data sciences, like to me, that's like an exuberant title. That's like when I think of a data scientist, I always think like a dude in a white lab coat with a pocket protector or something like that, and you know, they just walk around just like he just knows shit, right? He's just that intelligent. He just knows shit. Keep it techie. What's going on?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I think the white man got his foot on my neck.
Yeah. You were
uh,
saying something before you got snatched up.
oh yeah.
My bad. My bad, man. Freaking black man got my foot on his neck, on my neck, man.
Go ahead, keep it techie.
Um, I was basically finna talk about. Yeah, I kind of wish I had a. I mean, I'm glad I didn't go to. I would say a traditional university, because I think I would have kind of messed off as well. Because at that time, I was, I guess, in my own little world, uh, doing all the stuff everybody else was doing. But I would say I was a follower at the time. So just to be quite honest with it, but I'm kind of glad I did it later on in life. I went to school and I did it all online, even though it cost a whole lot of money, a lot more money than I would have paid if I went to a traditional school. But um, I think I got more out of my degree by doing it online and actually learning how to study on my own, and focusing on my own and making sure I have my assignments in. That I'm basically I'm in control of my future, versus I don't know, you have a lot of, I would say, distractions in the traditional college, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I went to school later on too. I didn't really go young. I really I did a lot of blue collar work when I was younger, but I got into my early to mid 20s. And I didn't really need it per se, but I did it because it was like a milestone that I wanted to reach. I was already in IT at the time, so it didn't really matter. But once I got the degree, the floodgates opened up for me. So it was a big difference. But I know you were going to say something.
My bad. I know I muted myself again. Yeah, went to school late myself too. After the military, I just was here, just existing. So um, went late too.
Yeah, I think there's benefits to going later than earlier. I think a lot of people are not focused um, as focused when they're younger, so they kind of burn off a lot of that time just doing nothing, and waste a lot of money in school. Whereas I didn't have to go back to school like other guys did. A lot of guys dropped out of school, wasn't sure what they were going to be doing, very unsure about themselves. I know a lot of guys knocked up some girls in school and had to drop out, go get a second job and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So a lot of that stuff, takes a toll on guys. They're less focused. But I think with platforms like EDX, man, you can get your certificate, micromasters, full master's degree now, and it's a game changer. 10 years ago, this stuff wasn't even available.
Oh yeah, and that was another thing I wanted to say about those about certifications. Most certifications don't fall for those little crummy schools with the boot camp thing attached to it, talking about 6 grand, we'll get you certified and all these things or whatever. You can study all this stuff on your own. All it's gonna be is somebody standing in front of the class telling you this is what you need to study when you can do that on your own instead of paying 5 6 grand for a boot camp. That's all it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get those emails daily about, hey, come to our boot camp. It's only, the price is probably going down because people don't pay it, I guess. I guess there's some suckers out there, but I don't know. You can study a lot of this stuff on your own.
It's for a different mindset too. A lot of people think they can go into a boot camp and they're gonna be whiz banged up and you know um, they're gonna have that skill set and get that job right away or whatever it is. Boot camps are for people who are ready to take the certification but need that extra push.
Yeah, true.
Hmm.
What were you saying, Lino?
No, I was just saying.
Okay. Yeah, man. I definitely think that you can't cert your way to success in this area. Data science, data analysis, all that stuff takes a lot of patience. And we went over it earlier, but the skills that they're looking for, the ability to build algorithms, the ability to construct data sets and things of that nature, that takes skill. That's not something you can coast by on. You can't coast by in these areas of the IT industry. You can't hide behind one person and think, oh well, I won't get I won't get my work done today. I'll just sit in the bathroom on Instagram and just look at pics. That doesn't work.
Yeah. And now it's more and more that attraction, not attraction, that things vying for your attention with these social medias coming up. Just nonsense stuff.
Hmm.
A lot of nonsensicals.
Oh, you mean the social media aspect?
Yeah, because now kids are brought up in that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stress enough, man. I think these are two different types of jobs. Cybersecurity and data scientists. You either one or the other. If you're gonna go for both, you have to think bigger. Now you have to think about IT enterprise architecture, solutions architects, and things of that nature. The ability to secure your environment and to construct data sets and algorithms and make sense of data. Um, Valuable skill sets, but you won't be doing the same job, right? You either work in cybersecurity and you're isolated away from the environment, or you work as a data scientist and you're pretty much mastering and eyes straight ahead on your line of work.
Okay.
So you can't be in both areas. It's impossible. They segment those lines of business.
Mm. All right. All right.
AO says Udemy is pretty good. It is pretty good. If you download the app to your phone, you actually get a lot more out of it than you do on your desktop. And anybody in the chat have any questions? We have 15 minutes left before we close out. Definitely post your questions in the chat. Now, keep it techie. You had said something earlier, during the data science portion. I think that's why you wanted to get on the Hangout. Do you have anything you want to add from that portion of the Hangout?
No, I think I said it. I think I said it earlier. I was just pointing out. I think you answered or said the statement that I was gonna say when I was first on. I was heading home. Sorry, it took me a while to get on or whatever. But um, I think you made the statement after that. After I made that statement in the chat. So
Mhm.
I don't even remember what it was, to be honest. But
Yeah.
uh, you guys know I'm the Linux guy, so
Mhm.
uh, as far as cybersecurity, um, and I remember Mike was talking earlier about you got to understand your enemy and understand the people that are trying to constantly attack your networks and all that type of stuff. Well, a lot of those tools they are using are in Linux, and they some of them are ported over to Windows, but a lot of the tools fall they have them on these distributions like Kali Linux, Parrot OS. They all have like Nmap tools, Metasploit. Just throwing out some of the tools that are used in hacking, as well as those red teams. They use that. Um, Cracking passwords. THC Hydra, I know, is one of them. But and Wireshark for analyzing traffic, network traffic, and also trying to find vulnerabilities, scanners, that type of stuff. But yeah, that's all Linux. So it's a good thing for you guys to kind of learn some Linux. That way you can understand how to use these tools, as well as excel in cybersecurity. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah,
Can you guys
absolutely.
hear me? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Kali Linux is probably the most popular. Um, I do have it downloaded. I just don't use it because it's not my role for right now. But these are all tools that are going to be fundamental when you take your certifications. They're going to ask you about it, so you're going to have to take some time to actually learn it. And if you buy any of those books, whether it's the Pen Test Plus or the Security Plus, a lot of that stuff is already mentioned in there, and they tells you how to use it. Different variations come out over time, so what's written in the book is going to be somewhat dated compared to what's already available when you go download it. Different versions, maybe a 3.5 by the time you go out and download it. As it was mentioned in the book, it may be 3.7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah, if yeah, so just as a FYI, next week we'll be going over blockchain as well.
Oh,
So we'll put
yes.
out the docket for that. And you'll probably see it by the time the Space and Technology Hangout goes up on Monday. So Space and Technology will be episode 110, and then we have 111 on Wednesday with geopolitics, and 112 with economics, and then 113 will be blockchain. So we'll be focusing on blockchain, the career certifications, degree, and the skill set that's involved in it. So there's a lot to be learned from blockchain because it's still early in the process, still in the infancy phases of it. We're just now hitting 3.0 with Coty. So also, I think we should do something for the blue collar brothers, man. There's still a lot of guys who you know gun shy about technology, so they stay with the niche factor skill set. So I do want to focus on blue collar work as well. But we'll focus on that next Friday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you all for joining us, man. I really enjoyed this Black IT talk for the most part. Richard Dixon, did you all touch on the process for the startup you all doing? Not yet. That won't be until 2019. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. It's been great, and we'll see you on Monday, Space and Technology, episode 110.
See ya.